Nayan, box office predictions now. So for this little segment, we're just going to be doing some very brief box office predictions, just basically doing the domestic and worldwide total, and we're just going to be providing a loose figure, maybe a range for these kind of movies. Nothing, too, I guess significant yet, because there's some of them so far away. We still have to wait on so many different details to come up before we can give proper predictions. But we'll be giving predictions to these movies in a little bit more detail as we get closer to them. So we're going to be doing the summer movie season that's about May to August. So it's when those big movies start rolling in. Now we'll just get straight into these ones. All right, so kicking off the summer movie season is The Fall Guy, and that is first week in May. Domestically and worldwide, where do you think this movie is going to end up?
I have no idea. Zero at all. I am just going to take a stab in the dark. I'm going to say between 80 to 100 domestically. Mm-hmm. And let's say 500 worldwide. I know the action might carry it a little bit, but it's sort of been marketed as like an action rom-com. I know that rom-coms sort of do turn some people away, but yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. It's one of these rare things that we get an action comedy, if ever. So it's uncharted territory for me.
Well, so you think that it can get 100 domestically and then 400 internationally to get 500 million?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, hot takes already. It's starting early, but I'm with you in the fact that this movie is incredibly hard to predict, because what's been the last thing since what's been the last nearly 16 years now that have opened the summer movie season the first week of May? It's been a Marvel movie. I'm pretty sure it might have skipped 1 year and COVID years, of course, but Marvel's always kicked it off. You've had massive opening weekends because of that. Now The Fall Guy takes that spot, which is a really odd replacement, because it's just The Fall Guy, and it's based on nothing, but it does have really marketable stars, and Emily Blunt and Ryan Gosling. I would go for 150 domestically at this point in time, and then I would say about 400 worldwide. I think you add on about two. I don't think this is going to be too big of a movie internationally, but 150 domestically is probably where I see it going, opening to around 50, and then not falling off dramatically throughout those coming weeks, just because there's a uniqueness to it, and I think the marketability of those two major stars is really, really quite powerful, especially Ryan Gosling coming off Barbie and that Oscar campaign that he had. All right, another one that might not be too difficult, but Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Where do you see that going in terms of box office?
Pretty high. I can't remember what the previous three have done.
War for the Planet of the Apes got 490 million worldwide. So then they're not big movies.
No, they're not. And we already know that the quality of this isn't going to be as good as Matt Reeves' ones, because Wes Ball's directing.
If it is any help to you, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes got 710 million worldwide, and then Rise got 480. So I don't know why War of the Planet of the Apes fell dramatically, but it could go either way.
Yeah.
Based on these, yeah.
I'd probably go with 150 domestic, between 150 to 200. 200 on the very stretch. And I'd probably go with 450 to 500. Just somewhere in that 400 range, I think, will finish up. Unless it's like an absolute masterpiece that everyone has to go see. But to be fair, the other three movies had like pretty big stars attached to it, and they could draw towards it. This one just has Freya Allen, who's only in The Witch, and no one but nerds watch that. So, and don't come at me in the comments. I'm one of those nerds that watched it. So,
I mean, yeah, man, I completely agree with you. At least domestically, 150, I see it heading around there. 200 at a stretch as well, yeah. And then worldwide, I think you're looking around something 450 to 500, I would say. as well. Yeah, it's not something that's going to be massive or as big as it should. You know, we looked at just before the historical data, the other Apes movies. It's not a big franchise, and internationally, it's not massive. So who knows? I think it does have the potential to get to that 700 million mark if it is great. But the others were great. Wolf of the Planet of the Apes was great, and that did massively lower than Dawn of the Planet of the Apes for some reason. I still don't know what that is. All right, a movie we're both highly anticipating. If.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And where do you see If getting in terms of the box office?
I really hope $0, but that's very unrealistic. Domestically, see, this is a hard one also because it's like a kid's movie, not based on a property. So it could go really one or two ways, either really, really good or really, really bad.
I'll provide some context for you. It releases on the same weekend as the Garfield movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's some competition there. Oh, wait. Yes, it does. Or is it Furiosa? It's one of the two.
Either way, it's heavy competition. I'll go 80 million domestically, and I'll probably go at a stretch 300 worldwide.
It's a big stretch, bro. Big stretch. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. It doesn't release with any of those movies. It's the weekend before the Garfield movie and Furiosa. But yeah, I would say you're right. And at least my prediction is the same as yours for domestically. 80 million is the ceiling. That's the highest I think it can do. I think you're probably looking around something around 60 million. I don't think this is going to resonate with anybody. So yeah, I would say 60 domestically. I'll be kind and say 150 worldwide. I'm just not getting a strong sense from that marketing campaign that it's anything significant. I would say John Krasinski's really missed the mark here, and he probably should have done A Quiet Place day one, which is one that's coming out later in the movie season as well. Yep. Yeah. All right, we'll move on to another one we're highly anticipating. That is the Garfield movie, voiced by iconic voice actor Chris Pratt.
Oh, greatest of all time.
I can't wait for the Rotten Tomatoes predictions for these movies. But anyway, we're talking box office right now. What are your predictions for the Garfield movie?
Well, Garfield has got Chris Pratt attached to it, and it's also a well-known, thing, animation, whatever you call it. So I can see it doing incredibly more successful than If. So I'm going to go between 150 to 200 domestic. And I think it could hit 500 worldwide.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. This is another one that's really hard alongside the Fall Guy in terms of predicting, because you are right. It's an incredibly popular IP that's been around for decades. Chris Pratt attached to it honestly helps in terms of box office because the general audience knows who that is. Is it going to be good? That's another thing we're gonna be predicting soon. I would say 130 million to 150. I think it gets there purely based on the IP and the recognition of the brand. The fact that it releases the same weekend as Furiosa, it's good counter-programming. Hey, Han, I'll go to this. You and the kids go to Garfield movie. You could see a lot of those situations playing out. So I actually think it will help it and be in its favor. Around 130 domestically. Worldwide, I don't know whether animated movies can do really well overseas. I'm going to regret it, but I might have to agree with you, man. 500 million, I might have to do. We're going to think about that. That's going to be an interesting one.
The power of Pratt, bro. Look what he did for Super Mario.
Yeah, 1.3 billion. If Garfield movie ever does that, I'll do something stupid on this podcast, all right?
Like what?
I don't know. We'll let the audience comment something. All right. So whatever they suggest in the comments, whatever the most liked comment is, if we get any comments, I'll do that. Within reason, of course. All right. Nayan, Furiosa and Mad Max Saga. This is your most anticipated movie for the year. How do you see it doing domestically and worldwide at the box office?
I think it can do quite well. I don't know how well Mad Max did, but I think no one was expecting it to be that good. I know that once
Do you want the stats for it?
Yeah, sure, if you have it up.
Yeah, it's made 154 domestically and 380 worldwide.
Okay. I think it can do better than that, because when Mad Max first came out, it got all those rave reviews, and now the fact that it's got the Mad Max Saga tagline next to it, it's people are going to recognize it's part of that franchise, and that franchise has been so iconic within the past 9 years. So I'm going to see around about 160 to 210 domestically. And then I'm going to go 550 to 650.
Interesting. Damn, the worldwide's quite high there. This one's tough for me as well, because I do think the Mad Max franchise does turn people off just because it's so I don't know the right word, just a little bit extra or like weird for people, because the post-apocalyptic world of Mad Max is really weird in terms of how it looks and what people are like and all that kind of stuff. So I think it can turn people off just being from that franchise in general. But I do see it being better than Mad Max Fury Road, because when Mad Max Fury Road was coming out, don't judge me, I was a young man at that time, really young man. I didn't want to see it because it just looked weird to me. And then it got 98%, and I was like, oh, okay, maybe it is a good movie. And then now it's like one of my favorite movies of all time. So it can turn people off, perhaps young people, but I still see it doing a little bit better. I would say around 160 million domestically, and I'd say worldwide is about 450, maybe the ceiling at 450. I don't see massive stuff, and I don't see it being a big movie to international markets, at least as much as the domestic market. All right, a big one. Pixar, they are at the staple of June. So, Inside Out 2 releases. Where do you see that coming in terms of a domestic and worldwide box office?
Big. I think worldwide it's gonna...
The numbers for the first one, 356 million domestically, worldwide 858.
Oh yeah, I was thinking around about the
Huge
800
movie.
mark. I'm thinking 900 to a billion. Billion is the stretch. It's a stretch.
Ooh, the big B, I love it.
Everyone likes a big B. Domestically, I'm thinking probably between 450 to 5. But yeah, I think the billion is a stretch. It can get there if the word of mouth is really, really good. And if the film is actually really, really good, because we know how Pixar sequels tend to be a little bit more average than the originals, unless a Toy Story, of course. So yeah, I can see this getting to a billion if those factors come into play.
Yeah, you're completely right about the Pixar sequels not being as good or received as good. But one example that we need to bring up here is Finding Dory. Man, that made 486 domestically and a billion worldwide. So even if it's not as good as the original, I think it might still do very well. At least from the box office side of things. So domestically, I would say you're right, bang on the money there. 450. I think it really can get to 450. Again, we have to look closely when it comes to competition and other movies around it. But from memory, I think it's got a pretty open stretch here. I think 450 is completely doable. And then worldwide, yeah, again, I got to agree with you. 900 to a billion here. The billion is the stretch. But it's not out of the realm of possibility at all. It really could get there. I think you are looking around something. If I had to put a firm number on it, I'd say 930 right now. We'll just have to see how things trend. But at least at this point in time, this is our first movie that has the potential to get to a billion. And I'm willing to bet my money that it's going to be a great movie. So, yeah. All right. Oh, what was that? A Quiet Place Day One. This is the first spin-off of the Quiet Place series. So yeah, where do you see this one in terms of the box office?
This is another tough one because A, it's a spin-off and it's not directed by John Krasinski. So it's quite hard to really predict. I would probably say 100 to 120 domestic with probably 250 to 3 worldwide.
Yeah. I think you're right there. I mean, I'm just looking at the first and second one. 188 domestically for the first one, 340 million worldwide. For the second one, 160 million domestically and 300 million worldwide. So I think you're bang on the money there, but this one's a little bit different because...
Sorry, second one released in COVID, didn't it?
Yes, I think it re-released to the 2021. So that probably, you're right, that probably hindered it. I think the thing with The Quiet Place, though, I think it is a franchise that will always trend downhill. Perhaps not in quality, but in terms of people being excited for it. Simply because the gimmick is that these aliens can hear with sound, and that's exciting in the first movie, and it's less exciting in every installment afterwards. But the day one goes against that because it's when they arrive, day one of that invasion, and so it's about the humans learning that they can hear through audible sounds, and that's how they get killed, I guess. So whether people can really buy into that a lot. And it is directed by someone he directed Pig. That was his directorial debut. So it's a competent director. I think it will be good. Lupita Nyong'o, she signs on for great projects. I think this is going to be good. It's a tough one to predict, man. I'm going to go 170 million domestically. And I'll say 330 million worldwide. I'll be a little bit conservative for this, just playing it safe, I think. I still haven't seen much from it in terms of trailers, marketing, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. Yeah. All right, the monster of the summer movie season. We have Despicable Me 4, which is having an excellent marketing campaign. If you're watching the NBA playoffs, you'll know exactly what I mean.
I haven't, so can you explain?
Do you know Nikola Jokic?
Yep.
Yeah. Best basketball player in the world. No arguments with that one. But he dressed up as Gru for Game 1 versus the Lakers, and it's just part of the marketing campaign. Because people say that he looks like... I actually sent you something on Instagram about this, so yeah, don't listen to my explanation. You go watch Instagram after this podcast, Nayan. But Despicable Me 4, that's what we're talking about, the box office. How big or small is this going to be?
Bro, it's untapped. This one, it could hit 2 billion, it could hit 3 billion, depending on the minion power, like, ugh.
This isn't QQQ. Don't answer it like that.
Everything's QQQ. I'm gonna say 1.3 to 1.4 worldwide. It's there. Despicable Me is a juggernaut of a franchise. I mean, Minions is a bit hit or miss, but we know that Despicable Me is a better quality product out of that too. And I'll probably go around about, I don't know, 4, I'll say 550 to 600 domestic.
Oh my gosh. All right, and your worldwide is 1.3 to 1.4 billion?
Yeah.
My goodness, man. But you are right, because if you look at the Despicable Me franchise, the first one did around 540 million worldwide. The next one, Despicable Me 2, did 970 million worldwide. And then the third one made $1 billion. And it's funny because each movie is... Yeah, but the quality of the movie is down, down, down. Mm-hmm. And so it's still making more money despite that. And then you go to the Minions movies, man. The first one made 1.15 billion. The fact that that's the highest grossing thing of the Despicable Me franchise is criminal. And then the second one made 940 million. And it's hard to know, but I think 900 million worldwide is the floor for this movie. And Your prediction is the ceiling. My prediction, I'm going to hit that 1 billion mark. I think that's the bullseye for this one. We'll see if it goes over or under, but it's going to be big. In terms of domestically for me, I'm not going to say 600 million or 550. I think that's ridiculous on any planet. And yeah, no, I mean, the third one, bro, got 264 million domestic. It got made so much internationally.
I'm swinging for the fences here.
He's really going for it, guys. I would say 350 million domestically is the safe answer for this one. All right, we go on to one that has the potential to be the biggest of this season. Deadpool and Wolverine. We just got trailer 2. We've just discussed it. How's this movie going to do both domestically and worldwide?
Can I say 500 to 600? No.
You can. I really want to see what your range is for this.
The fact that it's R-rated does hinder it quite a lot. Because, I mean, what's the highest grossing R-rated movie? Joker, and that was like 1.1, was it?
Billion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
I could see it potentially beating it in a more popular season. Let's just say Joker is 1 billion. I'll go 1.1, probably 1.2 max. And I'll probably go. Well, you criticized me before, so I think I need to go a little bit lower. So I'm going to go 450 to 500 domestic.
Jeez. I'm just looking at it now, man. So the highest grossing movies domestically that are R-rated is The Passion of the Christ. 2004 movie, 370 million. Not Oppenheimer, not Joker, or Deadpool, Deadpool 2, or It have beaten it. 370 million is still the record. Which is interesting because it feels impossible for this movie to get anything less than 370 million, right? Mm-hmm. But this has been the record for 20 years now. I think it's the year that this record is gone. I think Deadpool and Wolverine, I think it is going to get, I'm going to say 430, around 430 to 450. I think you're fitting around there. I think the R rating hinders it, not greatly though. And the worldwide is interesting. It beats Joker. If Deadpool and Wolverine and all the cameos in the world can't beat the Joker, it doesn't make sense to me. I am going to say that it is, 1.1 to 1.15. I would say that's where we're heading. This movie is the one to break the R-rated records because look at everything involved, so it's hard. And with the only MCU movie of the year, there's actually going to be a craving for an MCU movie, I feel. Mm-hmm. Or even superhero movie. Like, what was the last thing to come out? Madame Web?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's actually going to be a desire for this. So fuck it, we'll change it. 1.2 billion? 1.2 billion. No, I might go back. We'll see. I'll do my final prediction later on. Please don't crucify for me for this one. All right, we're getting into the August debuts now. So, Alien Romulus. Where do you see that movie going, both domestically and worldwide?
I'd probably go 100 to 150 domestic. Maybe 400 worldwide. I just don't think the Alien franchise has had enough positive steam ahead of it recently for it to warrant a big hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm completely on board with you. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the box office for this franchise, man. It is not positive. You may have oversold it completely. So the first one, I shouldn't really be using this because it is 1979 at the end of the day. Opening weekend was 3.5 million, so I'm not going to use that one as any kind of thing against your predictions, but Covenant, 74 million domestically, and then worldwide it made 240. So it's hard to say, but I'm probably going to go about 90 to 100 million for domestically. but I have a lot of faith in this because it does look good. And I think it is going to be a genuinely great horror movie. I think you're looking at around, I think it can push to 300 million worldwide with the right marketing and with a good rollout. So that's what I would go. All right, and the final movie of the summer movie season, we're ending the summer movie season with a bang, and that is Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor-Joy. As you know, we've all seen the trailer, unfortunately, but Naeem, where do you see this movie going domestically and worldwide?
Not good. A, it's Sony, and B, it doesn't look good. And A, B, C, D.
But
It's
before
R-rated.
you give me your predictions on this, Venom didn't look good, and Venom is R-rated. And then what did the first one do?
Yeah, but
It did 850 million worldwide and 213 million domestically.
yeah, but Venom's very, very popular character,
Kraven the Hunter
but not as
is
popular.
popular from Spider-Man to the game.
I guess yeah, it's gotten some recent hype in it.
just a little bit, yeah.
I mean, if you look at Madam Web and Morbius, they both did trash. So
To be fair, I've heard none of them prior to them being announced as projects. So
I would.
yeah.
I'm gonna go 70 domestic
No faith.
and probably 160 to 220 worldwide.
It's interesting. Yeah. Aaron Taylor-Johnson isn't as marketable as someone like Tom Hardy. And you are completely right that Venom is not nearly... Wait, Kraven the Hunter is not nearly as popular as Venom. So immediately it's a tough sell towards audiences. But Madam Web got like 43 million. I don't know. We're not even going to get into Morbius numbers because that's on even another level of tragic. But I don't think it's going to be as bad as those movies. I'll be safe with this one as well. I'll just say 100 million domestically and about 230 worldwide. I'm not expecting great things from this. But moral of the story, Sony should just hand over the rights to Disney to use all that stuff. Stop trying to make your own little Spider-Man universe. You've tried it twice. Doesn't work. All right. So that is the end of our box office predictions for all the movies coming out this summer. And by this summer, I mean everyone who's watched from the USA because it is me and Naeem's winter. But yeah, if you guys agree with it, if you guys have any predictions of your own, drop it down below. We can have a conversation. I love talking box office. So let me know your thoughts, higher, lower on whatever movie. We can have a discussion from there. I think it's going to be quite an interesting box office for this season because, it's not dominated by those kind of heavyweights that you're used to. So yeah, let us know your thoughts down below as well. All right.